Are we live? Are we here? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Jackie says that she's not saying hi to everybody all over again. Haven't we just been here? Ta-da! Are we here? Happy Friday night, you guys. And thanks so much for tuning into the Rockhound podcast. If you were just there, we really appreciate it. It was a fun first of the, new year kind of thing. And we had some big announcements, of course, but we're so happy that you're all part of our family, and I'm sure that everything will go smoothly as we trudge on with the new Rockhound podcast. And of course, Kyle will be along here and there. And so it's not a goodbye. It's until next time, of course. And so let's see. Jackie says my hair miraculously changed. Yeah, isn't that so weird? Yeah, just now we're into some business. And so I had to put my hair up. The sleeves are pulled back, the gloves are on, and we're gonna do some stuff here tonight. Before that, let me say hi to everybody again. Jackie's not going to do it, but I will. Lisa's in the house, and Chris is in the house, and Brian is in the house. Duck Killer Clyde is in the house. So what's going on? They would love to ask, and so everybody feel free to answer. And I am curious. I asked last week about folks having their resolutions, and so I would love to know. I think it's always interesting to hear, and I get inspired by other people. So I'd love to hear yours, and I'll tell you mine. If you have a resolution, if you don't feel bad. It's okay. Ken is, of course, in the house. Squirrel's in the house. Jenny's in the house. I think I said hi to Papa and Jackie already. Theo is here. Oh my gosh. This is great. So there were threats of making Theo go live after me, but I don't think so. I think that we're going to get another live sale sometime. He promised in the month. And so we'll keep an eye on that. And then as far as some upkeep goes here, like the housekeeping, keep your eyes on Kyle's channel because he's doing a giveaway. And so go check that out. It's a Fordham. And if you don't have a Fordham, you usually see mine hanging on the pendulum over there with my Dremel. You would love to have a motor if you don't already have one. And if you have one, why not have two? Because like I have two motors hanging from the pendulum there, because one is for like heavy lifting, and then the other one is for the fine work, and they take different sized bits as well. And so it's kind of nice, especially if you change a lot as you're going along. So anyways, mini tangent there. Dan, the rock man, is here in the house. Awesome. Bob's here. Cheryl's here, the soul adventurist. Rock Twister is here as well. Good to see you, Cheryl. And Cody is also here. I think I already said hi to Brian. If I didn't, then hello again. Mr. Turtle Montana is also here. Kid Curry is here. Did I say hi to Kid? Did I? I'll say hi again. I'm not keeping track as perhaps I should. And oh my goodness. Kyle has not been banished to the void. Tiger Eye is here. Good to see you. And so once again, I'm going to be a gecko, and my eyeballs are going to be going all in different directions. We've got not only the chat, which I'm going to try to maintain, which is viewable here on the computer. I'm going to be working a tool, and so you guys can help me. So if I miss something, shout it out in all caps. You can keep on asking questions, and I'll try to pick you up. I'll try to pick up where I left off. I think I said hi to Lisa. Of course, Kyle is here in the house. He's not in the void. He's in a hot air balloon. It's totally different. There are different physics involved, right? And he's a wizard. He's the Wizard of Ob. So there's different manipulations that can happen. Um, and Brian is taking all the highs. And hi, how are you? And all that. I'm doing great. How are you guys? Uh, no, there's no bye, folks, and everybody cheers. Um, all right, I think I've caught up in that. Like I said, the lineup for tonight is to play with a new tool. Who doesn't love to do that? And so I got a box on my doorstep. It's like way earlier than I thought. I thought they said it could take up to weeks, and it did not. And so I got instead a surprise, and so that was the box in the thumbnail. And everybody is eye centered on the curtain and Kyle. Aw. Yeah, it'll be all right. And if you miss Kyle, you guys go to the live streams on the weekends. He's super available on Saturdays and Sundays. Sometime usually around noonish until 8. Sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, and sometimes earlier, and sometimes later. But yeah. Oh, and Judy is in the house. That's my mom. Everybody say hi to mom. Hi, mom. And she's got a resolution. No worry, no hurry, no hurry, no worries. I like that. Planet orange, purple ring, planet orange, purple ring. Sounds good. But yeah, I definitely like that. I was trying for the get organized thing. And because actually, I think I've even referred to it here before. My mom used to talk about how like the inside of your head is kind of like the inside of the room you're in. And so if it's super cluttered, it's sometimes hard to get the clarity and the organization. And you guys have been viewing the backdrop here for quite some time. And I have it darkened because I like it that way when I'm working. No kidding. Like when I'm faceting and stuff like that, it's nice to really control the light. But I got organized. That doesn't look the same. It might still look like a lot of clutter to you guys, but I'm trying to get organized this year, and so my rooms are going to all get like a an organization treatment. And so it might still look like a lot of stuff, but now I know where all the stuff is. And like even that takes recalibration. I think many of you who have studios, that kind of chaotic clutter that you've got going on, you have created because like all those tools are exactly where you put them down and you pick them back up and you use them again. And so teaching myself that stuff has a place can sometimes be difficult because the place was where I put it down and I know where to get it. And so anyways, that's kind of the deal. I love that everybody's saying hi to mom. Thank you guys. Oh yeah. Yeah. Jackie says, Kyle stepping away from the podcast, not sales. Yeah. That's a job. And boy, being in business for oneself is so difficult. That's why I stepped away from the gallery. Honestly, I wasn't living life. I was living the gallery, which was a dream. It was an absolute dream come true for a decade. But, then you have to come up for air and decide what else, you want to enjoy in life. And so, yeah, Kyle is living the dream of being able to be self-employed and be everybody's favorite online rock guy. And so, the guy that has the goods for you to buy. And so definitely check all that out. And of course, the tender years for River are so important to embrace on account that they go away so fast. Um, let's see. Are you saying hoarder inside is a hoarder outside? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, uh, I guess it just depends on how you're organized, right, kid? Because sometimes, like, if all of your thoughts are a big jumble and you're a hoarder of thoughts, then that can be very confusing. But if you're organized, then that can be genius. And so I guess, that totally applies also. Um, don't feel bad, Kyle. Just don't. I mean, we'll miss you. That's the only feeling bad is that, like, parting is always sweet sorrow, but it's always until you get to hang out again, and there's going to be tons of that. And so, yeah, no worries there. And Kirk Howard's in the house. Cheers to you. And I forgot. Oh my gosh! Cheers to everybody. Where's my camera? Massive Moose, cheers to you and yours. And I hope that you have something good in your cup. And like, if it is inside and outside, then the plentitude and wonderful things that you have in your cup, I hope follow you all the way around for everything else that you have in your arm's reach and beyond. So cheers, real quick. All right. I needed that. Everybody always talks about hydrate, hydrate. And let's see. Laura's in the house. Hello. Thank you for joining us. We're getting ready to play. We're always getting ready to play, but we get to play with something new tonight. And it'll be fun. And Mr. Turtle Montana is coming out that Kyle's his dealer. It's a true story. And Kyle's his own dealer. Wait, are you supposed to be doing your own stuff? Yes. In this regard, this is like, surround yourself by the things that you love most, right? And Rufotris just made dinner. Awesome. Bob's Rock says hydration is important. Excuse me, yes. Hoyer, but everybody gets it wrong. Hoyer. I like the sound of that very much. Kirk Hoyer. Kirk, how are you doing? So I'll try to get that right. Once you've wired something, and so Hoyer. Excellent. It's like the foyer. Hoyer's in the foyer. All right. And Bear's in the house, the Rocky Mountain Bear. Good to see you. And yes, he's getting high in his own supply, wouldn't you? Especially considering some of the stuff that I see go past his desk. I've been invited a bunch of times to come help, and I'm hoping to be able to drop in very soon. And so it's kind of funny because I know it's just super dangerous that I'm going to have a problem resisting myself. I think he knows this as well. So we'll try. I'll try not to, like, wait, we can't really put this on any numbers because I'm just gonna take it. Can you imagine watching all this stuff go by? Like, oh, that's very nice, but Karen just took it. All right. And so let's see. I don't know if you caught my background right before I changed it, but let me bring up somebody. I think it just went all blurry, actually. Look at that. What is that? We don't know. I think it got bumped. And so that's an image. Maybe what we should do is make me big again. I want to be big again. And we're going to take a very short tour. This is going to be a little bit smoother than some of the tours that we've taken in the past with my phone. Do I miss using my phone? Sure. but I don't miss having my phone hang up on this whole thing. And so I'm going to actually move this, and hopefully that's going to still pick me up better than Kurt. And I just brought my guest on. And so I was actually looking for a picture of it so that I could share the picture. And I should have been doing that during the our podcast, but I was really, really having a problem not being involved in the chat. I was like, why don't you be working on your live stream? Not gonna happen. But you guys are fine with casual. And so this is the surprise. And so I don't know, no phone bad. Yeah. This is my guest, and it's a gorgeous chunk of equipment. I'm seeing like who's identifying what this might be. So this is a uh the microscope. Cat got my tongue. I'm just so excited about it. Uh Microscope that is on a boom. And so boom, baby. Instead of the fixed arm microscope that I have, that is actually a compound microscope, and that's what you've seen some of the images of before when I've been doing the foramens, and that video where I actually caught the rotifers doing their thing. That's like a kind of what you usually expect to see from a microscope. It's a lab mic. And this one is on a boom so that you can bring it out over like a mineral specimen, or now you're getting it like, hey, how about like a fossil preparation? Or another application that I'm looking forward to is using this particular microscope with jewelry setting and engraving, and getting the exactitude. She got a robot, Theo. A dental x-ray machine. Yeah, because my teeth are so bad. They're like, here, you need one just for yourself. Can you just monitor that instead of us, having to deal with it? And yeah, John noticed that of course we need a camera so that we can all play together. And so one of the things that is really super cool about this particular one is that in concert with being here, let's see, I'm gonna we can play together. And so this was meant to be in the frame, and I don't know what happened, it slipped off. I moved something. And so let me just bring this into frame really quick. This was something that Theo really wanted me to do. And so this is some amylite. And you're like, okay, now we would like to see it though. Like, we don't need to see you anymore. And what's interesting about this particular microscope is that it actually is instead of having a fixed compound capability, a compound microscope, you can switch from, say, 45x to 100x to 250x to like 400x, say. It just depends on what they've lined you up with as far as your lenses go. This one is a zoom. And so, if I want to go closer or farther away, then I zoom in, I zoom out, and then you make the appropriate remodification for what it is that you're working on, which is really nice. And so, it came with this magnificent light, which I have to work on so that it's not washing our specimen out. But I think that what Theo really wanted us to see, and I'm going to zoom in, and then I'm going to get us where we need to be as far as the focus goes. Let's zoom in quick on the structure. Yeah, so you can see the actual color structure in the reds there, that striation in the nacre that is, incredibly reflective. And don't you love that it's just grabbing the spectrum that, it's selecting the spectrum. We're seeing that, it's just amazing to me anyway. um okay, so Rufo says this is so absolutely exciting and I'm so happy for you, Karen. Thank you so much. And let's see, I missed something earlier, so I'm going to catch up here really quick while we're looking at this beautiful amylite if you missed it earlier. And so this is from Theo. And last night when we were talking about this new fabulous toy, because he was talking about his rolling mill, and I'm like, oh, I'm so jealous. And I was set after the podcast recording to come and play with this microscope, and he was like, oh, go look at the amylite. And so this is the nacre of the ammonite. This would be a specimen from Theo, so a Montani one. And let's see. um, did I look at the teeth? Asked Theo. Oh yeah, I did actually. We're gonna get a chance to look at that next. I can make that be next. And yeah, I think I actually might have even found a little jaw of a conodont. I'm not entirely sure. We'll see if we can find it because that'd be some tiny bits. But there's definitely the big stuff that we can look at. And let's see. I got the cools and the wows and the amazings. Thank you guys. It's so close up. I can smell it, says Travis. Very cool. And just so wow. Yeah, spit on it. It does actually improve stuff if it's wet. I do have a spray bottle. I will spray another specimen. I don't know how the amylite. I don't think it would be all that much better wet, but I appreciate the suggestion. And let's see. All right, let's move on. And so anyways, yeah, like because again with a microscope, the different heights are going to require some messing around because um it focuses on a plane. Those of you of course that know about microscopes, you focus on a specific plane, and the stuff that's a little higher or a little lower is going to take some refocusing. But again, this is just so neat to see how the color is built in an amylite. And those of you who are curious, we're not looking too close right now. This is probably like, I don't know, 40x, maybe not even quite. And so we're fairly close, but not super close. This particular microscope does, I think, 3 to 40-ish, and then you start over again with another lower lens. And when I replace that, then we get to go into the up to 90. And so where this leaves off, my other microscope will pick up. And yet at the same time, they're really for different things, because the other microscope, pretty much you have a working distance of millimeters underneath the lens. And so it's close and close up and personal. Whereas this particular guy right now, I'd change your guys's view, but I really can't do that. Because it's the whole computer. Or else I'd show you more of the setup. I was looking for that picture. I wanted to show you a picture of the setup, but I kind of messed up and didn't have enough time which was ridiculous because I had a whole hour while we were all chatting over there for the podcast. But this one has a working distance of, I don't know, like 6 inches is, I think, the sweet spot. And so you got like room to do cartwheels underneath this thing. You guys might recognize this particular specimen. It is from Theo as well. And well, let me see if I can pull those guys up. So that almost looks like two eyeballs right there. And I can't remember, Theo, if you said specifically if these were some kind of a shell, or, I was wondering when I was going through your box that these might be some uh verts or something from, like, because they kind of look like fish vert too, like from where I come from. And so I did, yeah. I hope everybody got a kick out of the amylate. I'm gonna adjust the lighting there just a bit so that it's not washing it out. And yeah, those colors, Cheryl, really are amazing. And Cheryl, yeah, for this particular setup, 90x is the maximum. So it's a zoom. So it doesn't take different, like a compound microscope. Every time you want to change your, like your, however many times the thing is multiplied, if it's 10x, 40x, 100x, 250, like it's a different lens. And this particular microscope is set up so that you don't change anything. You just zoom in and out, which is amazingly handy if you've got like a mineral specimen or something that's got a lot of different terrain. So you can just zoom in and out of like the different pockets. So very, very good for mineral specimens, very good for engraving or setting small stones, all the things that I totally can't wait to use this for. And so yeah, the other microscope that I have is for the heavy magnification. So that one, I am pretty sure it goes up to 400. I usually use it in between about 1 to 250, to look at the foramens and stuff like that. And so, it's plenty. It keeps me pretty occupied. And so here's another shark tooth, or a shark tooth that is in this concretion that Theo hooked me up with. Then it's on to the quantum realm, says Rocky. Yeah. And Bob's Rocks has an interesting idea here. It would be cool to look at some UV items using the UV light for illumination. Oh my goodness. Okay. Bob's Rocks, I will look at that for the next time, because yeah, it's already, usually it's pretty dark and, pardon me, in the studio. And so I'll go ahead and employ that. I'm not kind of set up for that. Am I? Let me see about, okay, hold on. Let's see if this glows. We'll do a quickie here. Lights out. And there's your UV. And so that's kind of interesting. Like the tooth is in the middle and it's that linear thing. And so that seems to be kind of UV sensitive. I'm trying to get what we want illuminated in such a way that it makes sense. So there's quite a bit of, sorry, I just left the microscope there, or the microphone. Whoa. Quite a bit of UV reactive material here. That's pretty neat. Good idea, Bob. I'll set up one that's like a cool rave light show for the next one. But yeah, fossils. Good call there. Good call, Bob. All right. So let's put that on. And if Theo's still in the house, maybe Theo can tell us which tooth that we're looking at, and we're going to go ahead and look at another one on the same plate And those ones you think are fish birds. Okay, super, Theo. Yay. Yeah, that really, really was what I thought. And you know what, Dan? Dan said, such a cool microscope. Oh my gosh. I am such a microscope dork. Like I could have a full lab in my studio and I would just be so excited to have like all the different kinds and ones with different filters set up ready to go. I almost I feel like I miss my calling just a tiny bit that I don't work in a lab somewhere. But I'm making my own here. So I've got 3 microscopes. Like I think I'm just gonna chain smoke microscopes until I have enough to do all the things that I want to do. Um, and as Spot says, don't forget to uplink the mothership. Yeah, absolutely. One tiny atom under Kid Curry's fingernail. Oh my gosh. Um, and let's see. I could use it on my amber. Yes, absolutely. So Dan, I have one amber video that I did, I don't know, I want to say maybe a year ago or something like that. And I used my other microscope and I had to use there are programs that'll stack, a stacker that will stack your images. You take a bunch of images and it stacks them so that you get the bug in focus instead of just the top of it in focus. Like right now we can't stack, and so you'll notice that the tooth is in pretty decent detail. I can turn the light up a bit on that. But then if you look at the sides of the image, it all goes into being out of focus because it's different terrain, and so you'd use a stacker to get everything in focus. And so I did some of that, but I was unhappy because I could only use really flat pieces of amber. Like I had to polish everything small and flat so that I could get them under the microscope. Now I can do full size uh, pieces of amber, which you guys probably love Yarek's channel, Amberscapes, and he had set me up with some really nice specimens, and some of them I couldn't use in the last video. And so another video is to come. I promise these things a lot at the end of some videos, and I don't get to the next video because I don't feel like I have the right technology yet. And we were just talking about that on the podcast. So I'm feeling like some of the videos that I had waiting in the wings can happen now because I have the right technology to make what I would, the vision for the video that I had in mind. And so let's go ahead and move to the next tooth. And there it is right there. I mean, gorgeous. Look at that thing. Uh, so Theo did an absolutely magnificent job of prepping this guy. Hopefully I'm all right with the audio. I'm just going to see how crisp we can get that. It's probably about as good as it gets. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty crisp. So pretty big. That this guy is just eyeballing it. I'd say maybe 1.5 centimeters. And so that's a like ginormous small tooth. Okay, so Theo, let's see. Oh, he's talking about the where he's at. And so Theo, let me ask, I think you told me what both of those teeth were and I promptly don't remember. And so he's talking about some of the different formations, and we'll see if he can let us know what this little guy is. And once again, let me tell you, that's like such a neat prep right there, because I did start working on a tooth on the other side. At least I think it's a tooth. And this is like some pretty cruddy matrix. Like it's not super soft. It's not like what I would consider easy matrix. My titanium pick was coming off on the matrix instead of removing it. So like I was turning the matrix material silverish instead of like it being able to scrub the stuff off of there. I always worry about damaging a fossil that is small like this when you are trying to remove the matrix material. And so let's see, where are we? Is that a Mako, asks Ken? That is a Scapano. All right, excellent. Let's see. And John is saying what I find so frustrating that what is visible and access available is not on certain devices. I'm not entirely that probably is part of another conversation. All right. And Scapano is Ken is going a Scapano. Wow, that's sweet. And so he is saying these are all eagle formations, so 70-ish million years, which is amazing. Most of the teeth are going to be the Scapanorhynchus. Scapanorhynchus. They were the most common teeth in that formation, which is just amazing. I mean, wow. Did you know that UV light under 240 nanometers generates ozone? Yeah, I guess. Here I am. So we must have had some of that. Let's see. Cynthia. Hey, Cynthia. I don't know if I said hi to you. Glad to see you got a new microscope. You're going to love it. Yes. Stacking photos is addicting. Oh my gosh. I love stacking photos. It's so addicting. It's like an art form. Going to be looking at some of the devil's toenail matrix I got from Theo. Oh, very, very cool. Yeah, you're going to have a really super good time about that. Those of you who are micro world addicts, like it's just so hard. I was up so too late, way too late last night playing with this thing. I got it yesterday and I was like, I was supposed to get it today, and I thought, okay, no sleep for the weekend, no sleep till Brooklyn. And no, it was last night. And so yeah, I'm so happy that I'm even conscious enough to do this right now, because oh my gosh, Scapanorhynchus. All right, thank you, Theo, for phonics. I really appreciate that. Scapanorhynchus. That's just even fun to say. And so, oh no, Brian is saying sorry we ransacked the chat. That's the point. That is so the point. I figured since we only went an hour for the podcast, I'd do like the live so that y'all could chat. So please, by all means, have a great time in the chat. And what I hope to do is just provide the visual stimulation for those of you. Kind of like a good view out camping while you're going amongst all the other things that you want to do. It's so all good. And I would be doing this anyway by myself, right now, doing this exact thing. So you might as well all come along, right? And so I'm going to, this is the other side, and this is one of the other, there were other fossils that were, or teeth rather, that were starting to present on the other side. And I got started on this one. It's at the center, kind of hard to see, but you can see like the light areas, what I was working around that. We can get closer. The beauty of a zoom. And so let's do this. Get us in there. And so I think we can even get closer. Who wants to get closer? Now you can see the metallic bits from my titanium pick. We can turn this up a little bit more. And so this is a little guy. I would say that we're talking about millimeters, not even up to a centimeter at this point. I'm going to turn this up light-wise. And so you can see it's like the point and the top is either broken or buried. I don't know, or it's just incomplete or not sure. I'm just going to turn it around so that we can kind of see the whole thing. Um, Sorry, not smooth because it's not on a lazy Susan or anything like that. No turntable here. Um, and I think it's like got a couple of rocks next door. I don't know what I'm uncovering over there. Whoa, going the wrong way. Come over here. And so, yeah, there's like this straight on view. And Spot says, well, Karen, if we were all in the same room just mixing and mingling, we would all be doing the same cross talking. Exactly. It's like having a party. Welcome to the micro zone. Oh my gosh, Bear. I love that. The micro zone. TM. Oh, that's great. How many shillings does that stone cost? I'm not entirely sure. It's a killer. I'll think about it. It's actually priceless. Because these are the firstliest shark's teeth I ever got, and then Ken sent me some that weren't trapped in in Matrix from Florida. So I've got Montana shark teeth, and now I've got the Florida ones too. And so, anyways, I'm like, what you see here is the tooth is probably about I don't know, maybe a third more exposed than it was before, and or spine or whatever it is that I'm working on. And the work that you see, the white area around it, probably took me about an hour. So not fast. Microzone. Yeah, Ellison loves that too. Did I say hi to Ellison earlier? I'm pretty sure I did, but awesome. Oh, and Kurt's in the house as well. Yeah, yeah. Super Walter Cronkites. We need how many did he say up there? Like thousands. Um so at any rate, that's that tooth. And so thank you, Theo. There are other teeth on this plate. I just wanted to start with something that I perceived might be easy. Just in case I made a mistake with this matrix that I wasn't used to. And yeah. So it's going to take longer. I might have to get out like the engraver and the power one and like actually work on that. Maybe if Theo has a suggestion. Can I zoom out slightly? That might be bigger than I think. Yeah, you bet. Let's go for a ride. Whoops. Oh, not that kind of ride. Hold on. Let's get this back up here. And it all happened so fast. And we'll zoom. Nope, not in, but out. And let me get some clarity. There we go. So what are you thinking, Theo? I mean, was that out too far? I was hoping for that as well, but it looks very nubby. You can see that there's a big round bulge at the top of that. I'm not entirely sure that there's a whole lot more there. Yeah, oops, says Lisa. I think you're just looking at the very tip of the blade. Interesting. Whoa, did that just go out of focus? Let's get that more focusy. Sorry, don't want to be sitting here in an embarrassing state of non-focus. It's kind of hard sometimes. Like, it's easy to feel like the whole thing is sort of camouflage. Like you look at a plane like this, and microscopes really flatten what is actually terrain, they like, unless it's just completely going out of focus and then you can tell. But sometimes the lighting helps to see, depth and that sort of thing. Boy, it sure would be cool if, I'm sorry, there's this platform had to make a corner there, and I wasn't trying to get that out of the picture, but just working with what I got. And so you can kind of see that now from another angle. And I swore I saw a root higher up. Okay. Yeah, that would be super cool. I'll keep on digging. Um yes, Spot, mom gets to come and play with new toys when she comes back up here. It's super fun and fantastic. Okay, and so Theo is sending a picture to me somewhere. Oh, I don't think I have the Facebook channel open. I closed everything just so that I would make sure that this thing wouldn't crash as we got started. But yeah, that'd be really neat. And then there's like, I mean, it's kind of you can see that there's just different coverings to the material. So it's going to take some digging to even see if there are other guys that are hiding. You can see there's something there that looks really, this is pretty much what I do. You go rock hounding, but microscopically, like, oh, what's that anomaly right there? It's got a different shape, it's got a different color, and it's got a different texture than the matrix material. Could just be a rock, or it could be something super exciting. And so, it does share the same kind of colors as the tooth material did. We got like a whole slab of different kind of like a shell material right there. And I came across quite a bit of that. Let's see if let's do, nope, we want to go that way. So bring it this way. And we'll get closer. We'll zoom in on that. Okay, hopefully everybody brought their Dramamine along. Sorry about the swoops on the zoom. We'll turn up the light on this. And you can kind of see the shell material. Just imagining that this is 70 million year old, and look at how fresh and pink that material is. That's so neat. Love it. Let's see. Da, da, da. So I'm going to pop that up. The lumpy ridge above may be the root. Oh, that's really interesting. Thin blade. So, okay. Well, you guys, I'm going to dig more. And what I'll do is I'll definitely be bringing you guys along for the ride. I'll either video or we'll have another live when we find some stuff. Wouldn't that be cool if it was, oh man, if I found my crab this way, I would be having like an absolute niption right here. I mean, it would just be like serious screes. It would be crazy. That might be enamel, lots of reptile tooth enamel. Oh, okay. And these matrices, that's also very cool. Brian's Dramamine just wore off. Ooh, sorry about that. I think it was Ken that was talking about the vomitorium earlier, or the uratorium or whatever. So if you need to visit that, that's fine. We'll be here. Okay, so Papa's Gems says, I'm so new to this thing. Rocks blows my mind. Yeah, there's so many things about rock and rock hounding that is just such an incredible mind blow, as far as, I always delight in the stories that are told. There's like so much terrain to that. It's like kind of hard to get the whole thing in focus. Sorry, guys. I just love that. Like, here are all these things that like have their own stories, that it's kind of like you get to be reading a book that is ancient, and then at the same time you get to be a detective where, you're using all of your observational skills and you're using the groupthink that is around you to come to conclusions about these miraculous things that are all these natural gifts that we have all over this planet. You have to love that. And so Brian was saying his mom would love this. She's retired from the dental industry. Yeah. Like all these fabulous teeth to look at. Yeah. And Theo's feeling like that's definitely enamel. Very cool. All right. So let's see. One more. Steinkern. If that's enamel, it's either reptile enamel or something. So I'll drink to that. All right. And Theo also says, wow, I'm a little stuffed up. Especially these matrices like these, there are so many possibilities, possible fossils in that one rock. Yeah, that's the problem. Like I actually asked him permission, you guys. I'm gonna zone out here. I'm gonna zoom out. And let's see, where did I zoomed out so much I lost us. Let's see. No, I probably went too far. You've gone too far. So the I asked permission for me to be able to go through the rock, and he's like, it's your rock, you can go through it. But it's like you feel like, oh gosh, I don't want to ruin. Oh, there's so many cool colors around that. I don't want to ruin what's there. So it's this conundrum where you're like, okay, I could go through the rock and try to find all that's there and crumble it all, but then there's like the specimens that are on it that are cool to have be in the matrix. And so at any rate, lots going on. There's like another anomaly right there. I have, here we go. This is the titanium solder poker that I was talking about. And so, you've got all of these little shapes that like, oh wow, what are you? And of course, sometimes they turn out to not be anything, but like I said about that other one, it turned out to be something. And here's a little tan piece that looks a whole lot like something. And I'll bet you anything that's another, kind of like the one that I'm working on right now. That guy right there. Yeah, that's gotta be. Okay, so let me find that with where's my poker? There we go. That guy right there. And so, yes, literally rockhounding in a rock. Oh, and what's that? What's that right there? That could be just a stone, or that could be the tip of something. I mean, that's the fun of it, is being able to dig around. And what a great winter activity, right? That you get to do this, in the winter when there's nothing, like the ground is frozen. So why not go for the indoor things? And so Jackie says, Karen, if you still have the rocks I sent you. Yes, I do. In fact, you know what, Jackie, I was meaning to do a video on them, and the box got like shuffled around and I am having trouble finding it. And so I do have them. They're in this house, but we did like an organization right after I got that box from you. And that like, I think that box went into another bigger box, and it might be hanging out in the garage or something. We were trying to, we were working on some project where everything had to get moved out of a room type thing. And so you were saying, I think there are some oolitic stuff there that I would want to check out. Yes, absolutely. I will look around for it. That's been, that thing that you do when you've lost something and you're like, okay, I'm going to have to clean the entire room to find the one thing, and you find it. So a lot of times, like, Jackie's box, okay, I'm going to have to go through the garage boxes to find Jackie's box, I think. And I actually was looking for these particular polish points that I totally lost in this studio, cleaned the whole studio, found the points. And so, there's gifts in getting a a deed done that you might not want to really have to do, but then you get like all of the upside of like finding something that you've been missing. I came so close to ordering a new set of these tips from Rio, and they're not cheap. And so I was like, I really would like to find that little box that had all those tips in it. So at any rate, Jackie, yes, good suggestion. I will look. And then let's see. Rocky says, I think I still have a box of blank microscope slides. Ooh, but I don't know what you use them for with rocks unless you can make insanely thin slices. And actually, that's funny that you should say that, Rocky. I you know, I got my box of slides too, and I'm through about half of them because I make specimen slides out of a lot of the sand from the beach that has the foramins in it and that sort of thing. That slide that had the I said it earlier. Oh, those little swirly guys that they came back from the dead when I added water. Rotifers. Those guys, like there's a slide for those guys. And so I don't know, like for regular microscope work, but I initially got the microscope that is in my other one so that I could look at thin sections for petrified wood. And the faceting machine was actually part of that project as well. And so getting the faceting machine calibrated and learning how to do it all that last year is a step towards making the thin sections. If you guys are interested in that kind of a project, look at Patrick. He made a thin section video using, I believe, his faceting machine as well. And so yeah, on down the very short line is going to be a bunch of thin sections that I make for like from the faceting machine, from the petrified woods that I have here. They're all going to get slid under the microscope, and we're going to do some petrified wood identification because that's like one of the only ways that you can do the ancient wood identification, which is so exciting. And there's a database that a specific woman who I'd love to have on the podcast actually mines, and I can't remember. I think it's University of South Carolina, but I'm not entirely sure. But she's got an entire database of all the ancient woods that she can compile, like from all over the world, for the university. And so, like you have this checklist that you can go down and minimize all the options until you get to the wood. And then if you don't find it, there's a possibility that you have a wood that it has been as of yet unidentified, and you get to pull a Mam Lambo and have something new and name it or whatever. So like how much fun is all that? And so Theo says that might be a bone, looks textured, so it could be fish or reptile bone. Oh, okay, cool. It's so interesting to work with like different bones from different places that mineralize differently, and so they're different colors. That I wouldn't have seen bone there because all of our bones, like if it's a fish bone, it's black. And then most of the whale bones are brown and or have agatization or calcification. Let's see. I missed why Jenny is so lucky. um Let's see. And Cynthia says there's so much in that piece to uncover. Make sure you're wetting it and wearing a respirator or masking. Yeah, Cynthia, that's such a great thing to bring up. And that was something that we brought up during the podcast is doing, safe practices in your studio, no matter what kind of lapidary or prepping you're doing. Boy, prepping is definitely a disaster on your respiratory system if you're not wearing respiration for sure. And Theo says, yeah, that was a big learning curve when we started hunting this stuff. I'm so used to the phosphorus rich black bone from Florida. The brown and the tan ones threw me off at first. Yeah, big time. And so actually there's one other part of this that shows maybe, I guess, then a bone. It could be. I was writing it off as something else, but Let me see if I can find it. It's hard to see stuff bare-eyed. Okay, wait. Back on like, ooh, let's look at that again. There. So there's that big old thing. And when I say that, I'm talking about like over a centimeter. And so at first it looked to me like, oh, well, that's probably wood, although I didn't really take that close of a look. This is a close look, but like not a closer look at it. So maybe Theo can weigh in on what we're looking at there, because that's pretty interesting as well. Maybe that's bone. And hey, Maddie Hayes is in the house. And Maddie is new also. Totally enthralled. Yay! I found your channel completely by accident about an hour ago. Oh my gosh. Well, welcome in. That's fantastic, Maddie. And there you are live. Yep. And they're in Eugene. Fantastic. So you're really close, actually. Was hoping to take daughter out this weekend. Fantastic. Yeah, do some rockhound. And I mean the weather's kind of abysmal, but phosphate, says Theo. Yeah. But yeah, there's plenty of rocks that are still doable. As you know, in Oregon, if you waited for the weather to be nice and you weren't going to get wet, then you'd never go out. So you might as well just have the right gear. Let's see how close we can whinny up on this thing and see how come I thought it was wood. But that structure sure could be bone too. Don't know. It's so interesting. Like I said, honing your eyes in, like I would have to, put that under my other microscope to look at the cell structure and come to a conclusion about that as an untrained eye for this particular material. Which I probably will do, guys. It looks like it's coming apart, so why not? Let's see. Well, thanks for welcoming Maddie in, guys. You guys are all so very, very cool. Let's see. Yikes. Val lost one glove out on the farm. Oh man, I hate that. One glove is a scourge. That and one sock. Let's see, Papa's Gems. I have an agate that I'd love to see under a microscope. Yeah, they're fabulous. You're looking at a lot of crystalline structure. If you guys want to, I can slide a piece of that underneath really quick. Massive tangent. Hey, that's what we're all about. We are definitely all about that. And Allison just built a fire, taking the chill out of the house. That sounds so nice. I wish I had a fireplace in this house very much. If I have it to do over again ever, then I'll have an actual fire. But I'll tell you, saunas will kind of put, it's a good second to just go take a sauna instead. Let's see. Soul says, didn't Rob make a video where he made a thin slice for a microscope? Rob might have as well. I was pretty sure it was Patrick, but maybe more than one person did that. And Rocky has gremlins or something, apparently. I'm sure I missed whatever that had to do with, and I'm probably pretty behind. So I'm going to go ahead and try to catch up here while we're looking at this. And let's see, Theo is talking about being happy to send some Montani petwood slabs for thin-ins. Yeah, that would be great. I have that huge piece of petwood that you put in that box that you gave me on the beach. And I keep on like, do I cut you or do I leave you full? I love it so much. It's so hard to know whether you should cut your babies. Theo, if you have more of this specimen. Oh, Cynthia's interested, right? Let's see. And Mr. Turtle Montana's talking about always forgetting where they put things that you need. Yeah. So I look high and low, but never end up finding it. So then I go and buy a new one and subsequently misplace that one. that one as well. Then I clean and find it all. Yeah. I mean, that is like the upside of cleaning, right? Is that it's like Christmas. You found stuff that you had lost and you're reunited. And then there's also the thrill of finding something that you forgot you even had. And so it's truly like getting a new gift. It's awesome. Um and let's see. Uh People are claiming on Theo. That's awesome. And Laura is talking about being a voyeur. And I mean, I know what kind too. Like, to clarify, I'm thinking a rock voyeur. Just no, I love rocks and have been watching a lot of videos on rocks by great people. Thank you, Laura. That's super. And that's a lot of us. Like, I jump in the chats when I can, but most of the time I'm lurking around just because I really enjoy hearing about and looking at rocks. And so I have it going on in the background when I'm working here in the studio. Um, all right. And so I know I'm not totally caught up yet. Oh, that is certainly bone. Oh, that's what I was looking for. So thank you, Theo, as we sit here and stare long at this bone sitting here under the microscope. Yeah, Papa's gems. It's like rock porn. It truly is. Like, it's the only kind that's allowed, right? And let's see. Da, 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 da. I think that John's talking about um, a mediator of some kind for something. Not entirely sure. I'm trying to catch up, and then you guys have all of the wonderful side comment or conversations going on, and it is just fun to watch. Definitely, Laura. Uh, let's see, coming down. Well, I'm glad that everybody's getting their giggles on, including Papa's gems. Excellent. And oh my gosh, let's see. Yeah, I wish you could just go and adjust the thermostat as well, Allison. Although honestly, like, we don't really run our heat in this house because it's just too big to heat the whole thing. And so it's same. Like, either we like crank a space heater or go make ourselves warm somehow. And fires and saunas and stuff like that are definitely the way to do it. Maddie Hayes, any tips you can share that you wish you knew when you first started? That would be really helpful. Time of year, landmarks. Oh, um, for the rockhounding, rock clubs to share stories and info. Okay, so Kyle of the World of Rockhounds, who is part of the podcast that I just left and started this live for, and is also an Oregon person, has Oregon Rockhounds over on Facebook, and that's a great group. Everybody's really helpful with each other, and if they're not, they're probably just being a little like close to the uh, keeping close to the chest, maybe their rockhound haunts. But the Gem Trails of Oregon is a really, really great resource if you're looking for a book to get started. That's actually how I got started in Oregon. Was I bought that one, and Rockhounding Oregon, which is I can't remember the person who wrote it just off the top of my head right now, but those are two really good resources. Check before you go to a resource like that, because a few of the sites that are in those books, if they haven't been edited recently, are closed to the public. I know this by experience. And so it's also nice to kind of check ahead of time with your BLM. If you go east out to Prineville, they have rock maps at the Chamber of Commerce. And those of you that, I'm sorry about this tangent, if you're on the other side of the world or the country and this isn't relevant, but this might be relevant for you. A lot of chambers of commerces will have maps for people, or at least resources for where to go rockhound. And so you can either call or you can swing by. I know that they had tangible maps at Prineville, where that's where like they'll connect you to Glass Buttes and to Paulina and Hampton Butte, I think. Like they had this great big map of all these different places where you can go to find the petrified woods and the obsidian and agates. They say specifically where those things are. Rock clubs are a really, really good thing to join, because they oftentimes have field trips. Not only do you know that you're going to somewhere legal, because they'll know that ahead of time before you go collecting, but also you're going with folks that are like-minded, so it's fun, and they can help you get your beginner rock goggles on, meaning training your eyes so that you can recognize what it is that you're looking for. So hard to know, even when you're looking straight at the rock that you're looking for, when it's all dirty, with the dirt overburden and whatever, you might be looking right at it and not know that that's what your quest is all about. And so it's really great to go with some people that know, and rock clubs are really good for that. But even just on the resource, the Facebook resource source of Oregon rockhounds, you see a lot of pictures and people share their experiences there. So I would say getting started there, hanging out at places like this where folks are talking about it and you can ask in real time. So I hope that kind of helps. World of Rockhounds is who I was talking about, and he's just jumped back in. And so let me see. Maddie Hayes was the one that was asking about your group, Kyle, the Oregon Rockhounds over there on Facebook. If somebody wants to, they could even throw up a link. She was trying to get started with the rock hounding, and she's over there in Eugene. And so I know there's some spectacular rock hounding around there. You just want to make sure that you're collecting in a place that's legal, and if not, like, take pictures and leave what you find, which we do a fair amount as well. It's fun finding things that, oh wow, I just saw this incredible fossil, but I need to leave it here, or whatever it is. So Theo was saying, when I was trying to figure out where to hunt in Oregon, I just abducted this guy, Kyle. Right? So somehow, like with circular reasoning, we found the same end answer there. All right. Oh, cool. All right. So that'll get you started, Maddie. And you can always ask in the comment section for any of my videos, and I can give you specifics, or in any of the other, Oregon rockhounds. Usually people are pretty stoked that we have lake interests, and so they'll share what they can. Don't be surprised if somebody doesn't share their honey hole or something like that. That happens too. But if you stick around long enough, then people even do that. You just stick around long enough for that. All right, last thing for now. You probably heard my dogs going off. My dogs were like my alarm clock here. Kind of zooming out here and bringing this fossil into focus. And actually, it's kind of funny because with this microscope, you can be too close to it, which is crazy. I have to get used to its sweet spot field of view, because I'm used to like happen to be right on top of something with the microscope. And in the case of this, it's like it wants to be about 6 inches away, which like is so much space. And so I'm going to actually hold this guy up for you. Let me make myself be the full, whoops. Okay, so this is one of the fossils from Kemmerer. I have a lot of like faceless wonders, which is kind of sad, but it means that this is a good one for me to practice on. And so for size reference, that's a fairly good size guy, and I think it's a Diplo because the diagnostic is there's a space right orienting there in the ribs where you can figure it out. But what I thought we'd do really quick is work on that tail under the microscope so that you can kind of see why I wanted this so bad is being able to get close to the subject. And so let's get this back on here. And I'll do this, I think, yeah, makes it bigger. And so we're super washed out here, considering that this is all white. So this guy is from Kemmerer, Wyoming. And there we go. So what I'm about to show you might be shocking. Let's get out a little bit. So like I said, this guy doesn't want to be very close to its subject. So I'm even going to put it lower and we'll get down closer to it. So just don't mind me while I'm getting stuff reorganized here and finding the sweet spot again. Now I think I put it too far away. Okay, hold on. It's great getting a new toy, but calibration, learning like the happy place for your new toy. I really wanted to get out farther, which I know we can. Let's see. We don't want to be anywhere near that close. Just talk amongst yourselves. You guys are really good at that. Yeah, and we're still... Yeah, this is just the way it's gonna be with what I have set up. Anyways, that's a really nice look at this, but like I said, you might be shocked and amazed because we're gonna see what gets lost. I know we are. Whoa, shoot, that's not very stable. Okay. Real as Karen figures out how to spin these plates. Maybe a little bit more. Okay. Catfish. All right. Well, thank you, Ken, for hanging out. We'll catch you later. And this is like, yeah, this is super close up. But what I'm going to show you, okay, here's my tip. I'm going to show you one of the reasons why this is so darn good for prepping. And I'm going to move my microphone here for a second too, because I'm going to look through and look at what I'm doing. So this is what I wanted it for. How to damage or not your the tail we're going to reveal. And this is also maybe informative for those of you, like, this takes so much time to do. Like, there's other ways of doing it, like microabrasion. You can see little black parts. This is what I was alluding to, as far as, you know, you might be shocked and amazed, because what's sad, the sad part, let me get my microphone back in so I'm not talking to the echo in the room, but yeah, like there are very few ways to not have some of the fossil come off while you're working. And then now you get to this point. I'm gonna grab a brush. Okay, so I've got a paintbrush and try to remove this without removing the fossil. And so this is how you work. And you probably saw, there's brown bits that go away. You're just trying to remove the matrix without damaging what's there with the fossil. Micro chunk that came off. Yeah. Like it is so, I absolutely love fossil prep. It is so zen. It is such a neat kind of a meditation. And so, you have to be in a totally correct frame of mind. There's no rushing it. And so what you're seeing me do, like, instead of perforating in, I'm trying to work above and just flick the what's on the top off. And I'll change direction and try to go at like the opposite direction, like at these marks that I just made. If this first direction doesn't work, but it's dodgier because like you're more likely to puncture what's there if you can't get it to kind of landslide off. From my experiences, and I gotta say, I'm not terribly experienced. I'm still working it out, but I love going slow and I love what is revealed. And so it's just ever so worth it. So you're seeing some of it, get revealed and some of it go away. But the other way of getting the fossil out is by when it bookends. And that's when you crack it, and there's part of the fossil usually on one side and part of the fossil on the other side. And so the stuff's coming apart anyway, is what I always kind of think to myself, like, to remove the top from the fossil, there's like, it would be so miraculous if you saved all the fossils. Some of it's going to come away with the matrix material. Now, what's really cool about this, I probably should have shown you on Theo's shark tooth fossil, like how hard that matrix is. This is so soft in comparison. And so also, I know that both Kyle and Theo commiserate as far as like how gentle you have to be when you're removing the chalk or all of this matrix material from the from what you're working on, and I'll go back and I'll clean up that area right there more carefully. So I'm kind of trying to just do a swath right now and not do very much damage. You can do close up careful damage as you go along or at the end. So catching up here really quick. Oh, Kyle, you put your fossils on hold for now. Yeah. Twister's. Oh, hey, Twister. Did I say hello? And it looks like it's good night as well. So hello and good night. Let's see. And Theo's got fish from the second trip. And yeah, I've been waiting to get this tool until I did my trip fossils from my first trip for sure. I think you need a Zen frame of mind for most work under the microscope. That is so true, Rocky. It's such a good place. It's such a sweet, sweet place too. All right. And Kyle says some of those bones, you can't even blow on them. the bones will come loose. And it's so true. And then you talk about like, okay, so you could try to fix it as you're going along, but you see all of the debris in here. And so I'm not fixing that. Like I'm not going to put an adhesive on here until I can clean. And then I can seal it so that the bones don't continue. Some of them get sealed, some of them don't. And so that's like just a decision that you make as far as when you're done with the prepping. But yeah, that kind of gives you an idea of like if you're doing something the size of this whole fish or even bigger. Like I'll give you a little spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I've got a much bigger fish that I've been waiting on this microscope for because I want to be as accurate as I possibly can be with it. And so yeah, so as Kyle was saying, like even microabrasion wouldn't work with some of these because the micro abrading would like carry away, like just even like a little poof of a blow, like will just blow the stuff away. And so you kind of have to just like manually pick it away and hope that you're not taking too much of that bone, that beautiful bone and flesh. You can see the scales, these are just amazing. So I'll give you a little tour of this guy close up because it's just gorgeous to see. And I'm sorry, like I should have dialed this guy in before because this is kind of on the close side. It would be nice to be farther away, but we work out of the field of the sweet spot. I think I was trying to do that before, and yeah, just keep on. You see, it just doesn't really want to see. We get that much. It's just too close. All right, so I'm just going to give you a little tour, a little close-up tour. Get a little bit more detail there. Look at the spine and how delicate those ribs are. I mean, that's insane. So would a jet of air be better, like what you'd use to dust keyboards with? It says Val Summers comes with a tiny tube like the WD-40 does. And Kyle answered down below that would still be too strong for the small fishes, sadly, which is true. That would be too strong for this little guy for sure. Look at how the scales are so nicely preserved there. Material within the spinal column is preserved. There's like flesh that is preserved with these fish, which just completely blows my mind. And can you work with them at an angle? Gravity takes the material out of your way. Yeah, actually, this is at an angle, which is like, and so I have a little bit of the gravity aiding my work. That's a great idea. It just depends on how you can arrange your workspace. The microscope has a 45-degree angle built in, and then you have to be able to sit where it makes sense. And so within those parameters, by all means, it would just make it very difficult to like say have it be at such an abrupt angle, like as in kind of like on a painter's easel or something like that. Wouldn't quite work out. Look at how tiny those are. So delicate. How in the world did you stay intact is, kind of what, look at those little joints, like the joint for those little bones. I mean, that just stymies my mind. It's just so cool how these are put together. I do have some chemistry jokes I could tell, but I don't think they'll get a reaction besides ask if the good chemistry jokes are gone. Mr. Turtle Montana. Yeah, it seems like you always have the jokes too. And so Theo was saying he does gently blow, but anything more will rip out the bone. Yeah. And the scales. Like I've seen like some of the soft tissue go, and it's like it's trying so hard to keep that on there, especially if you successfully are able to cleave the matrix from it first, and you're like, oh my gosh, I just did that, and then like to blow on it and see that thing flake away, and you're like, oh no way, that just happened. It's kind of like Theo's sapphire flying off the dot, but not quite as tragic. But it is sad. Like if you've got like good pieces of, say, a face, the stuff that really is nice to have, or the fins, and you see bits of that like kind of fly away. This one, it broke when when we found it. And so it had an uneven break. And of course, the face. You don't get to choose how these stones are presented to you. Like some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. And so if your fish just so happens to, let me get that in focus. If your fish just so happens to, it have its face on the very edge of you know, the rock that you were working on, then you might get a faceless fish. Isn't that cool? It's all part of the skull of this fish. And who knows? There's a lot of bits there. That might be some other fish too. But that's one of the ways that you can tell these particular fish in this formation, is that you look at the edges of the rocks, and you can see the brown, and you open them up like books. And so, oh, wow. Okay. So that's what that looks like. And I'll be working on this prep, and I'll probably be doing, I don't know if I'm going to video this one. Like this is more of a practice piece because the fish is not complete. And so I'll just be uncovering that tail and getting it as revealed as possible. And let me bring myself back up here. And so so this is this side. And I was saying that the way that you kind of discover which rocks you want to get into sometimes is that, you see the brown on the edge and you open it like a book. Well, this particular guy actually had some edges with some color. I mean, you can kind of see some color right there. And you can see it's cracked right there. And so a lot of natural cracks will happen where there's more activity. And so sure enough, this guy had this guy on the other side. So, like I'll be a monkey's uncle if like, here's half of the fish without the head, and then on the other side is the head. And so I actually prepped that one. Bring this light down a bit because it's washing it out. This one will show you kind of the depth of, look at how deep I had to go for that. And so, and I did that holding a jeweler's loop in one hand and the pick that I was using there in the other hand. And so that was quite the time to do that. And so, you can use a little engraver, like the first size of prep tool that Dremel makes. And here down at the bottom, I'm going the wrong way because I have a switch screen right there. You can see there's another fish. And so that's what I was talking about as far as color in the fossil. And so, I've got that to uncover. And so I will be, and I'll probably video that one, or maybe should we do that live? I mean, we won't do it right now because it's getting late, but we could definitely do that one live if you guys wanted to. And so I'm gonna catch up here really quick with you guys. Remind me, Karen, I can spare a Diplo with a face for you. You know what, Theos, thank you so much. Let me go through mine first and see if I've got some faces, because I might. And then I'll take you up on that, and or I'll meet you out there, because that's what we need to do anyway. Melissa says, thank you so much, though, Theo. That's such a sweet thing to offer. I bought a fish fossil from Theo for my husband. That's so cool. It took him less than a week. It just went away. Look, took him less than a week to break it. You know what's interesting, Melissa, is that in my travels, I've seen these Kemmerer fossils here, there, and everywhere, like in like the Tucson Gem Show, and other places in Wyoming, Arizona, California, all the places that I've gone. It seems like, oh, I know exactly where that's from. And I can't tell you how many of them are broken. And I definitely have several that needed to be mended. And I know that Theo and Kyle had some that needed to be mended as well. Our mining day, it was wet. And so they say, definitely give them weeks to get completely dried out before you even try to prep them. And on the way home, several of them broke just because, especially being wet, they were just weak. And so don't feel too bad. And I don't know, I can't remember. Kyle, can I gold leaf that? Yeah. Do you want to go leave this one? I can send it to you. I'll drive it over for you. I'll drop it off during one of the lives that I hang out for. Where was I? I can't remember. Kyle, did you make a mending video for a broken one? I can't remember if that was part of one of the project videos that you did, but it's definitely something that you do. And there's a way to do it so that it doesn't look bad at all. Professional painter's brush for oil painting's good for cleaning fossils. Like, I'm a professional painter. And here is an oil painting brush. Yeah, exactly. And I like the different, boar's bristle is nice for kind of flicking some of the bones off, and yet they're pretty strong. So you can flick some of the ribs and like some of the lighter bones off that way too. So you come back in with like a watercolor painter's sable, and you can, like that debris that I was showing you that was kind of stuck there, and you can't blow it off and you can't wipe it off unless you want to take a risk. I found that a really nice sable brush will remove some of that. So that's kind of my cleanup plan. Sable's very, very soft, and so it's a good way to go as far as that's concerned. Thank you, Joseph. And hi, Joseph. I don't know that I saw you come in, so thank you and welcome. And let's see, Gar are awesome. They have found some monster fossil Gar at Kemmerer. Yes, the scales are like half an inch thick. I have one scale, not Gar. And I was like, what is this? This has got to be like a flower or something like that. I was just so impressed with the size of the scale. And they're like, yeah, that's a scale. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to see the fish that belongs to really bad. I think you have to like pay an extra bit to be on those fossils though. I would totally lose my mind if I found one of those as well, Theo, definitely. Let's see. Fixable. Yes, fixable. Gold leaf fishies. Yes, Kyle's famous gold leaf fishies. Yep. That's so cool that Brian has those. Awesome. Let's see. And yeah, people are reacting to Melissa's sad story, researching the best way to fix it. Yeah, so Kyle, if you didn't make a fix it video, I will, because I've got broken ones that I can totally show you. Let's see, there's a pretty cool gnome who's giving away a friggin' Fordham. Yeah. I did mention it earlier on in the news. So Rocky, thanks for reminding everybody. Kyle, go over to Kyle's channel and become a member because he's giving away a Fordham. And then of course, go shopping. That would be tomorrow and Sunday. And every weekend for that matter, go get your rock needs completely. It is a one-stop shop for any of your rock grocery shopping needs. Jenny Stone now has a new crossword word. Yep, gar, ancient fish. You got it. And let's see. And oh man, I just got really stuffed up all of a sudden. It might be, just having these preps around, not having the respirator on, like all the dust. There's like this giant dust cover for this microscope. And it's definitely going to be wearing it most of the time while it's sitting here in the studio. But thanks you guys for coming on this super fun romp to break in my new microscope. It is so fun. And so I'll send a picture to my membership, or not membership. I don't have one of those yet. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not, but the community, I'll post a picture of what that looks like just on the desk. I've moved it from where it was in the picture, but at least you'll kind of get an idea of like what you've been looking at. And I'll put that up on Discord as well. If you want to come join our Discord, then definitely come and hang out with us. Maybe somebody can, I don't know who's, yeah, I think I have some mods here. I can't see the chat for YouTube. I'm looking at the chat on my new platform, so I can't see who the mods are. But yeah, Allison's here. She could maybe throw up the Discord thing, but we share, for the rest of the week when we're not doing lives, pictures of stuff like microscopes, shows and tells of your projects. There's, a fascinating thing. We just added a silversmithing and jewelry channel to the Discord. So, people's projects, questions, anything like that. So come and play over there. Oh my gosh, I'm missing a bunch. I'm way behind in the chat. Wow. Oh, thank you, Allison. Really appreciate that. And I'm like just catching up really quick, you guys. Yeah, Bob's Rocks was saying that the credit card cries when he watches Kyle's lives. Like I love that you can kind of keep track, as far as, at least I pay through PayPal, and so it's keeping track of like my Kyle spending. And I feel so good about it though. I'm like, okay, that money went to rocks, and for me that's my business and everything. And so I love seeing that. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I spent that much in rocks this month. And for me, it used to be Tucson Gem Show and stuff like that, where I'd go and get the rocks for business. And Brian's saying good night, so good night, Brian. We'll see you tomorrow. And it's just nice to be able to buy from a friend if I'm not going to go to like the actual trade side of the show, and go do it that way. Like, oh my gosh, I'd much rather be purchasing from a friend. So that always feels really good. All right. Oh yeah, so Melissa was saying that the chunks are missing from the fish itself. Well, that's good actually. If it just breaks off of some, like when you're at the quarry. Thank you, Allison. Love the new toy too. The at the quarry, you cut away from the matrix anyway, and so the bigger thing that I have, like the guy came with a circular saw and just like cut it away from the rest of what was there, because it was just this ginormous chunk that would have taken up like half of the trunk. And so yeah, like don't worry about like some of the rest of the matrix. Or I love the uneven shapes, like those ones back there on the first shelf. Those are all Kemmer Green River Formation ones too from when my mom and my brother went without me. And they gave me some specimens, and they're all odd shaped, and I like that. You know, even if I mount them, which I'm hoping to do so, like the nicer ones want to go on the wall on like a piece of wood mounted. I still like the organic shapes as opposed necessarily to like a perfect square or something like that. So I wouldn't be too sad about that. And so let's see. It looks like Melissa was worried about something that Theo have to be careful because the matrix is like a sponge, soaks up adhesives like crazy. Yeah. But there's a way of like patching, like at when the adhesive is still wet. If you take some of the ground up, like you could grind up some of the matrix material from the outside of one of the other sides, so that that crack is still, you know, fits nicely together, and then take some of the powder that you make and integrate it into the crack, so that instead of adhesive being what you see and what the adhesive is holding on to, the adhesive is also holding on to the powder that you're putting on, and it kind of will integrate the whole thing together and make it less obvious, conspicuous. Oh yeah, and Kyle came very close to getting a stingray. Yeah, that is going to be amazing to see. And Theo's going like he wants the squares and the frame rectangles, which is fine. Like that's a great way to present them too. I think that it's all good. Like I saw somebody, I think it's In Stone Fossils, which is like they have their own quarry, I think. They do like backsplashes in people's dining room tables and like installations in people's houses and stuff, like counters and whatnot. And so they use all of the organic shapes and they integrate them into like a tiling or whatever. And it's just insane. And so you can be very creative. And of course, you know, it gets like epoxied over the top of it or whatever, however they seal it. It's just amazing. I think some of them I saw like might have been under glass, like, you know, heavy table glass or whatever. Just insanely cool though. So, you know, if you have something that's been broken or cracked, there's like a way to fix it, which might be, you know, might make the whole thing cooler. Like you can save it and then some. So maybe just a little bit of creativity for you. What kind of adhesive? That's a great question. I think that like literally simple adhesive like Elmer's glue was what I saw people using or recommending for that. And I'm thinking that was like maybe on a fossil page, because I did some hunting, and you can hunt the Googles for it. But you know, look at the forums, look at where people are talking about it in real time and doing it. And yeah, I mean, like what I have worked with so far is fine. And especially if you're going to seal it with something, then it's going to be much less noticeable, because the seal is going to also kind of integrate everything together and make that less noticeable. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Allison is complimenting me on my earrings. Some of the sunstone, they're the swing dingles. I should get some more of those on the super webs on the website, guys. I'm sorry I'm lagging on the jewelry. It's been all production for special orders, and I'm still catching up on those. And so if you have a special order waiting for me or from me, working on it. Hopefully getting all that out of the way before the next dental visit. So when I'm knocked out, I don't have to worry about these things over my head. But and then after that, the body of work will emerge. And so I'm hoping in time to do some shopping for the Valentines in your lives. And let's see, thin CA for the bones, thick CA for the breakages, but also make sure thick CA doesn't squeeze out the top because it won't clean up well. And that was, I think that was one of the reasons why I like the simple glue. they were talking about that is using just like a super simple glue that doesn't color, and then using the powder over the top of that, and just like kind of having everything dry and integrate. And so there isn't like even like a texture change so much. I have to, it would be super fun to do a comparo. Haha, there's an idea right there. So I could use some CA on one, and I could use some like simple glue, like an Elmer's style glue on the other, and see what works better. I think I'll do that. All right, Lisa, thanks so much. I think that we should all get running. Steinkern, to you, and watered down Mod Podge. Actually, I just put there's a jar of it. Let me see. Over there in that little group of jars. Oh no, it's right there. That's my watered down Mod Podge, Theo, in a spray bottle. So yes, there's that one too. But that feels like so much more like the top, and not so much the putting it together. Mod Podge is a nice adhesive that doubles as a sealer. Yeah, I was using it as the sealer. And then the kintsugi is a good idea. So using gold leaf in the crack, if you want to accentuate the crack and know, like if the crack is there, like if it wore away some, because I've got a few of the ones that got damaged en route and they got worn away. And so like there's no way to really marry them like exactly. It's not like a fresh break. And so something like the kintsugi would be gorgeous with that. Maybe that would be like option 3 on a video that I really should probably make. Awesome. And the Starbond series, probably. I mean, aren't those CAs? And so any of the CA glues would probably be a good thing. And I don't know about clear silicone. Yes, more. Oh, Annie. Hi, Annie. More earrings in the shop would be great. Okay, I've got a bunch of earring pair stones that are set aside. I just need to get on the metal smithing. And so this microscope is actually part of that scheme, though, for all of the little settings and the minute things, especially like setting the gemstones, all these sunstones and the obsidian. And I've got some rough of other stones that I get to work with this year. Those are going to be getting the microscope into the action as well. So Annie, I promise more earrings are coming. Let's see. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out. It was super fun hanging out for the podcast, and then coming over here and hanging out for this here live. Like, I think we've definitely satisfied a bunch of the chatter. At least we got warmed up for Kyle's lives for the weekend for sure. Decoupaging fish. Yeah, Jenny, that's what I totally felt like when I was making that bottle of Mod Podge back there. I thought it was so funny. That's exactly what I was thinking. And copper would look great with the fish as well, Jackie. Good, definitely. That would be neat to do like more of, like, not just like, just the precious little crack as far as the gold would go, but with copper you could do a little bit, like maybe make a backdrop or something for the fish. Yeah, silver and copper foil, so you could see what looks best. Oh, I love it. That's fantastic. In real time, she's getting the solutions. Looking forward to seeing the silver smithing, says Cody. Thank you so much. All right, so cheers to you and whatever is in your moose. Stein Kern, thank you so much for coming to the live stream tonight and spending time. Wishing you the very, very best in this new year that we're all embarking on together. I hope that you find lots of rocks and do all the things that you love to do, like hang out with friends and create cool things and look at neat things in the microscopic world and all that stuff. And thank you so much for doing those things with me. I love it. So I love you guys. Stay well. And for you and yours, cheers. We'll take a little drink. And I'll probably see a bunch of you tomorrow. And if not, join me for the next live next Friday. And stay well until then. Cheers.